Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Brian with the Wholesaling Playbook, and today we are going to do a walkthrough of a property with Nate Rold of RoldRealtySolutions here in Omaha, Nebraska. We're going to go through what Nate looks for when searching for a property, how to find investors to go in with you to aid you in flipping the property that you are looking to purchase, and then subsequently rehab. And then also, give you some information on how you can contact Nate, if you have any questions on real estate related issues. So I'll see you when we get to the property. All right, guys, so we are now here at the property with Nate Rold of Rold Realty Solutions, and we are going to do a walkthrough tour of this property. When you see it, it's rough. It's not as rough as some of the stuff that you'll deal with possibly in the war zones, but it does need a lot of work. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce you guys to Nate. Let him tell you about his business and what he does, and also you guys will get a chance to see this property. So this is Nate. Nate, why don't you go ahead and tell the people about yourself?
So my name is Nate Rold. My company is RoldRealtySolutions. Been around since 2016, mainly focusing on wholesaling, getting into fix and flipping and doing some buy and holds now. So yeah, we're getting ready to look at a potential flip. Let me tell you, it's a little bit, but so our main goal is to assess the property and give them what our maximum offer is. Main thing is making sure we stay in budget, making sure we stay true to the numbers. We'll probably have a good deal. So.
All right, cool. So Nate, what actually got you into real estate?
I've always had a love for real estate. So I took courses back in 2007, 2008. Obviously, that wasn't the best time to get in on the agent side, so I decided to put that on the back burner. Worked a couple little jobs in between that time. Still had a passion for real estate. Was watching a video online, and it had a guy, Jay Morrison, talking about how wholesaling works, and was putting it in terms that I could understand. And so I just started diving in a little bit more into it, but didn't make no action. Didn't do no actions or anything until 2015 is when I really started really focusing on what it is that I wanted to do when it came to real estate, and wholesaling was it. 2016, I just made that jump in February and said we're gonna make it happen. That's what did it.
Perfect. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and jump through this walkthrough real quick. That way we can talk about what you actually look for when you're walking your deals. So that way that'll help the newbie investor as they're coming into the business to see what it actually takes to actually flip a house.
Right.
We are going to go ahead and walk this property.
So coming in, obviously you guys are going to see everything I see. I mean, as soon as you come in, you do see a lot of damage to the ceiling portion. Most likely water leak.
Oh yeah, definitely. As you guys can see here, the water right there around the floorboards. So that leak could, like I said, that could be from the roof. That could be from the fixture that this pipe is attached to. But this is the stuff that you guys need to watch for when you're walking the properties.
Right. A lot of times, depending on how bad the damage is, you're going to be looking at replacing floorboards and things like that throughout the areas that have fell. So something that you got to do when you do another walkthrough, your initial walkthrough, you get an idea of what it is that you're going to need to do. You need to bring in a contractor because they're gonna see things that you may not see, and I mean that could be the difference between a couple grand being left on the table, or that you got to cough up in order to make the deal work. So
exactly.
So good living space, good size living space. Wonder what's the hardwood underneath here.
It looks like it's concrete underneath. Yeah, so as you can see here, Nate was checking underneath the floors to see if there was hardwood or if it's concrete, or just basically what type of flooring is underneath, so that way he can assess if there may be any more damage. And like I said, with this spot here, with the water falling down, that carpet is soaked. Mm-hmm. So if that was hardwood flooring under there, at this point we may or may not be able to tell, because the floors could be buckled. It might have just started. Right. But like I said, that's stuff that you need to look for. Everything is just not paint and carpet.
Right.
If you are get into the flip game and you get a house and it says, oh man, it's just paint and carpet, Look at them and laugh, because you already know that it's not. There's always something hidden.
Always, for sure. So if you even look over here, you see there's water damage that you can tell. So obviously it's ran down.
Oh yeah.
Affected up here too. So I mean, at this point you'll be looking at ripping into the walls to see where all the water damage is at. So I mean, everything that you're looking for. I mean, you're gonna have to replace windows. Because if you're flipping, you want everything up to 2019. I mean, we're not going back to 2002 and shit like that. And stuff like that. So you want everything that's gonna be 2019 and better. So you're gonna do everything from windows, and these are all things that you have to take into account, because when it comes to whether you're wholesaling it or flipping it, you have to think like a flipper. You have to think just like a flipper. So what is it that they're gonna do to get their maximum dollar when they put it on the market? They gotta do windows. They're gonna do all new appliances. I mean, you see the kitchen up there. The kitchen obviously needs a lot of updating. So when you look at these things, these are all things that you're going to want to take into account when it comes to your budget, and then what you're putting in as repair prices, and either sending it off to your investors or what you're going to put in your repair budget. So,
no doubt. Yeah, guys. And as you can see, like I said, in the kitchen, that's a standard size window. But down here in this room, these windows aren't standard size. So you got to put in your budget more than you would your typical window. And if your typical window is $200 a window, for these, you may be looking at $400. Right. What if you want to take this out right here and make it French doors leading to the backyard? Exactly. You got to take into account as well. So, just think a little bit ahead and factor these numbers into exactly what you're doing when you're going out evaluating these flips.
And so my thing is if you look at it, some people might say, well, just drywall it and make it a wall. But the problem is now you don't have enough natural light in here.
Yes.
So that's something that you have to think about. What's going to attract people is the natural light. So you want to be able to keep windows, or like Brian said, putting in some French doors, something that's going to give that natural light still in here in the room. So just a little tidbit on that.
Cool. Yeah, let's continue on with this walkthrough here.
So ceiling, stucco, we would have to scrape all that and repaint that. Not too many people do stucco like this anymore. Obviously, we would replace lighting and things like that also, so we put in some different lighting. Yeah. The kitchen is gonna be kitchens and bathrooms are what sells homes, and really nice master beds. But so this would be an area that we would have major concentration in. Obviously, there's some things that when it comes to like the lighting and stuff like that we would have to take into consideration. All new appliances. So.
Yeah, this microwave has seen better days. As you guys can see here, there's a little out of control fire there, but of course that would have to be replaced anyway. So, and luckily they let this refrigerator air out. Yeah, quick tip: if you are walking into a property that has a refrigerator and it is closed, leave it closed. Yeah, I've made that mistake before. It's not pleasant. Just leave it alone. There are people who handle biohazards, so yeah, don't go opening refrigerators when you are walking through these properties that may still have them in there. You never know what you're gonna find.
Might unleash some sort of plague or something. Yeah, and the smell is horrible. So yeah, so obviously you see the kitchen scene is better days, but that's something that we would bring up now. Up here, the hardwood doesn't look too bad. I mean, there's definitely something that we could work on. Obviously, areas that you would have to replace, but doesn't look too bad.
And a fan favorite here, the mirrored wall. You will only find this in the finest of properties.
Vintage.
We'll have this here. So let's go ahead and run upstairs and check out the upstairs layout here. As you can see, another huge window that you're going to have to take into consider in the cost, and you may want to keep it like this, or you may want to bump it out and make it a bay style window, put a bench in there, just give yourself more seating area in this room.
Absolutely. All right, so go up here. There we go. We got one bath. Pretty good sized bath. Definitely would update that. Rip out, put a new vanity in, new toilet. And then one thing you also want to do when you're going throughout, just kind of check, make sure piping looks good. I mean, and if they have it on. Make sure there's no drippy drips happening.
The no leak test is a must.
That's right. Because plumbing, I had one. Plumbing set me back 10 grand, and it wasn't something that we planned on. Had to back out the deal. Ours were too tight to begin with to have anything exceed where we were at, and when we finally had our contractor come in, yeah, we would have been 10 to 15 grand over budget. So, nice sized room. Nice size room. So once again, probably just painting here. Floors look really good. We would probably, not sure what would you think, Brian?
In here, with being in our cold weather climate, and I believe this is above the garage.
Yeah.
It'd probably be best to put carpet in here.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Even though from a cleaning perspective, these laminate floors are best, but
Right.
it's just gets a little too cold here.
For sure. So yeah, and that's something. I'm glad you said that. 'Cause, yeah, that's something that you always got to take into account when you're here in the Midwest, because we get the extremes of both heat and cold. So.
Yeah, and it looks like up here in this room here, they've already updated the windows, so that's an expense that is saved.
Getting a little bowl in here though.
Oh yeah, I do see that. Yeah, so that would be something to take a look at.
Yeah.
And of course, like Nate said earlier, this is why you want to have your contractors come through, because we can see one thing and they'll be like, nope, it's this.
Yep. That's why you let your expertise hang in one area, let everybody else's expertise hang in another. Don't try and cross them and be something that you're not. So I see homes, I know what to look for, but the contractors that come in, they know exactly what they're looking for.
Exactly.
So nice mess here. What do they do here? So at some point there was a door here. I don't know what they're getting ready to do. Well, so obviously you guys see it was an elderly gentleman that lived here. Got a walk-in bathtub and the chair escalator that was on the stairs. So
Yeah, actually, there's a water problem right there. Yeah, like I said, as you can see downstairs, this is just right above that area that had the water leak with the ripped out ceiling down there. Yeah, so this bathroom is also going to need a good update.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's going to need a new door.
Yeah. Nice little walk out deck.
Yeah, nice thing about this here, there are no neighbors behind, so which is a plus. A lot of people do like that, not having the neighbors. It's an okay sized backyard. It's been
Update on landscaping. Room here. Still good sized rooms. Looks like we already got some updated windows, so that's good. Brian said save on a little bit of cost there.
Yeah, and like I said, as you guys see here, you know, any place where you can save a couple dollars is going to be monumental because,
Sure.
you know, with that roof on this house, it looks newer, but there is still a possibility that it is still leaking. I mean, because there's water, that water downstairs was still fresh. So, like I said, having that contractor come through, check it out, make sure everything is good. And that way we can further assess, okay, well, it's not an issue there anymore. So where is the water actually coming from? Which means that we may have to rip into some walls here.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to continue this house tour back downstairs. We'll see you down there in a minute. All right, guys, we're going to take a trip down here to the basement to see what else we can see what's going on in this house as we continue this tour. Nate is dropping some gold on you guys, so I hope you're taking some notes here. But I'm going to turn this back over to Nate so he can do his thing.
All right, guys. So the main things that you're going to look for immediately on a house: the roofing, the HVAC, the water heater, electrical, and the foundation. Those are the main big components that are going to have their major repair numbers. So let's go over here. Let's check the HVAC system. Doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look like it's super old and outdated. Looks like last servicing was done on September of 2011. Yep, check the heating filter was okay, everything. So you always want to look and see if they have something like this on, when the last time it was serviced, things like that. Just gives you an idea of the overall upkeep. So then you know whether or not you're really gonna have to dive into having it replaced or anything like that. But you still wanna, have it looked at or whatever. But now, I mean, it looks good, so doubt we'll have any problems with that. Water heater looks good. One thing I like to do, look at all the piping. It's all copper piping, so there's you run into a lot of things down in the north side where we're from, where houses copper missing. So it doesn't look like anything's missing here, so that's good. Water heater looks like it's in good condition. So, all right, then so what we'll do is we'll check the electrical. You want to make sure that they're updated from fuses. If not, that's something that you're gonna have to do. So this one's been updated, which is good. And then these little, man, when it comes to like these things, people want to clear them out, and man, I'll tell you what, there's people who need these kind of appliances. Man, put them on Craigslist, put them on Facebook Marketplace, and get rid of them for $20-30, man. I mean, It ain't nothing. It's a little money in your pocket, maybe a bar tab or two, but you know, it gives people something that they need too. So when you have these in the home, might as well just get them, put them on those sites, and let them go. So basement, you want to look for any cracks foundationally. I've been in houses where you can see straight outside from the foundation. So you see bowing in the walls, anything like that. Down here looks really good. There's no cracking, bowing of the walls or anything like that. There's a bit of a musty smell.
Yeah, I smelled that when I started to come down here.
There's a bit of a musty smell, so somewhere it really seems like there might be some mold growing. I haven't seen my feet are sticking to something that was sticky over there.
Yeah, so that old sticky tile that they put down on the floor and have ripped up. And
so, but yeah. Yeah, overall, the downstairs looks good. It's not a huge basement, so it's not something that you're gonna make into a, you know, you're not gonna put a whole lot of work into the basement. You're just gonna clean it up, you know, do some painting, you know, make it look nice to at least have some storage and stuff down here, and you know, your occasional come down for your washing and drying. But you're not gonna put too much work into the basement.
yeah, no doubt. And one thing I want to mention here while we're in the basement is because I've been in a house before where there was water in the basement because the water is still on. Right here, these do leak if they are sitting for a while and the water's on during the wintertime and nobody's attending the house. And you will have a basement full of water. You'll be like, what is going on? I don't know where this water is coming from, but those do leak. So, you know, you want to make sure that the house has been winterized. And if it hasn't, that you actually, if you get the house under contract, that you are actually looking over the house and making sure that, hey, there are no leaks, because investors will come through and they will ding you and they'll be like, hey, I got to come down on the price because there's a water leak. You don't know where it's at. For them, it's probably like a $10 fix. And they just beat you out of a couple grand. Yeah. So don't fall for, you know, that trick. Make sure you look at the house yourself. That's why Nate said earlier, go through the house like you are a house flipper yourself. Not like, oh man, I'm just wholesaling this property and I'm going to make a quick 5 grand, 10 grand. Make it, you know, go through it like, hey, if I buy this house, I need to maximize my profits. And I'm over here sticking to this damn floor. Can't even move, man. I'm stuck in this floor talking to you guys here, but yeah, make sure you go to the house like you are actually flipping the house yourself. Yeah. So let's get back to this tour.
So I want to touch on what Brian said, because I actually had one in February. February was horrible for us. It was so cold. I mean, we were in a deep freeze, and so I had a guy that we had his house under contract. Went through the initial walkthrough, was fine. I came back a day or two later to get a couple more pictures. I heard something running. Now there was no electricity or no water in the home, but I heard something, or no electricity at least that I knew of. Heard something running, and so I'm looking around trying to figure out what it is. Get closer to the downstairs, and I hear it's downstairs. When I go downstairs, it's the water meter. Like Brian said, the water meter busted, so it had water spraying all over the place. By the time we were able to get our water utility people out, they had to dig the ground, which was frozen. They had to dig the ground to get to the shut off the valve, come to find out the guy that was renting the spot actually took a water meter out of someone else's house and put it in there, and it busted. So they had to take it. But the problem was it sat on the wall for so long, it started messing up the foundation. So once again, one of the major repairs that you have to account for, couldn't do it no more, so we had to back out of that deal. So that's why having an inspection period in your contracts is very important. If they tell you to take it out, don't do the deal, because then you're stuck. That's one of your clauses to get out of what would be a potential bad deal. So you have to protect yourself in that aspect. All right, so we're here to serve people, but we're also not here to serve people at the detriment to ourselves. All right, so when it comes to your inspection clause, make sure it's in there. Make sure you go through with a contractor. You go through and make sure that these things are all nice and tidy before you actually go out and make it happen. So just a little tidbit on that. So yeah, so there's still, actually you're seeing that there's still areas of water which are a concern. So that looks like it's really one of the main issues that we'll have to address for the home is figuring out where this leak is coming from. But once again, you're not going to really be able to know 100% until you get a contractor out here. They're able to jump on the roof, make sure it's not something from the roof, or if it's something to do with the plumbing.
Yeah, and probably in this house here, at this point, it's probably more that plumbing because they did redo that bathroom as you guys saw earlier. But yeah, I mean, the wood is rotting out. I mean, there could be termites.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, all sorts of inspections that have to be done on this house just to make sure that everything is good. I mean, the bones look great, but I mean, there are some questionable things going on just in this property.
Absolutely. Well then, so obviously you take care of what's all on the inside. Now you still need to go outside and make sure you do a complete walkthrough of the outside too. Gives you an idea of what you're going to need to do for like landscaping, things like that. If there's any siding issues, anything like that, you still check the foundation from the outside. Also make sure gutters are all correct. You'll be surprised to see what running water does and what it does to a foundation and the soil. It rolls the soil away and destroys foundations. So if the gutters aren't correct or if they don't have any on them, you're looking at a potential hazard, potential problem. So after that, why don't we go out and check out outside?
All right. Looking at a little foundation, making sure that there are no issues. This actually looks pretty good.
Doesn't look bad, just needs to be washed. Power wash the siding.
And as you guys can see, the gutters on initial inspection, they look okay.
So one thing, I used to do roofing, siding, and gutters. So when you're looking at gutters, anything, if you start, most of the time you can see the dents from hail and things like that, but you run your fingers across it, back and forth, don't feel anything, your gutters are going to be good. So most of the time you probably just need to clean these out, that's it. You see they do have these here that are running off into the street, so that's good. So to have, because if you see the way the lawn is graded, it pools. If it rains, it would pool in this area. Now you add on that, it's going to pool in this area, and that's going to obviously speak for itself when it comes to problems. So to mitigate that, they put that piping in. And it's most likely, like I said, going into the street. I'm sure there's probably another runoff that it goes into before it hits the street, but yeah. So outside, we probably laid down some grass seed, get all of this cleared out as much as possible. Like I said, with what the budget looks like, we're trying to just lay some grass out and whatnot, but mostly just clean up for the most part. Definitely take all this out, take up all the river rock. Probably lay a little bit of mulch around. Once again, I mean the siding is still in really good shape, so that's a good thing. Don't have to worry about that. Just power wash that, and you'll be surprised how clean it looks after a good power washing. I don't know, Brian. freestanding the deck.
Yeah, I think
especially with all the moss that was up on top.
Yeah, because structurally it looks great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's slight slippage there on the rock, but I mean it doesn't look too bad. It's not going anywhere, and yeah, sand it down, stain it. I think that'll be all that this actually needs. Those windows, I mean, they don't, from the outside, they don't look as bad as they did on the inside. But like you said, power wash will actually probably go a long ways on these here. They do have the plastic on it to keep the cold out. So of course, you know, single pane up here. Horrible. So I mean, they may have to be replaced anyway with double pane windows. So overall, this house, I mean, it's a decent house. No real major issues that we could find on this walkthrough. But we are going to need to get somebody out here to inspect it. For sure. To make sure that, you know, what we actually saw is what we saw. Right. You know, and we didn't miss anything obvious. I mean, we seen the horrors. So I mean, I don't see any. Yeah, I don't see anything past that. So I think this may be a house, you know, once we get an inspector out here to check it out, that we would, you know, put in an offer on. You know, this would make a good house for somebody.
Definitely just have somebody come check it out. Make sure it's everything. I don't know. Now if you look, you do see a little bit of the couple shingles that out there. No telling where that's actually coming from though. I mean, we'd have to get up there. And it looks like there's single tabs on.
Yeah, another thing you want to watch for when you're looking at a house as well, if you do get a chance to get up there on the roof, I know here in our area, there can only be one thing of shingles on the roof. So you get up there and you start seeing 3, 4, 5 layers of shingles. Yep. You're in for a huge bill. Just keep that in mind. Yep. So when you're negotiating with your sellers, you know, and you do get a chance to get up there, say, hey, look, this is not to code. You know, we're going to have to come down the price, you know, because we had to do so much work just to get this fixed. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at the house, because a lot of houses you can actually look up there and tell, like, oh man, that's thick, and it shouldn't be that thick. So on this house, there is only one layer that we can actually tell right here, because whoever did it, they did a good job on replacing this roof. And it looks like a lot of these windows have been replaced on this house. Like I said, which is an excellent thing. Decent sized yard. But like I said, once we get somebody out here to do a final inspection on this property, it'll let us know where. Alright guys, sorry for that abrupt cut outside. The realtor came through while we were shooting, but we've done our walkthrough, inside, outside. You've seen the good, the bad, the ugly. Nate, how can the people get in touch with you?
So you can go to my website is RoldRealty.com. Also Facebook, RoldRealtySolutions. Instagram, same way, RoldRealtySolutions. Also, my phone number is 402-906-4155. You give me a call. We could set something up, ready to partner with people, get things started.
No doubt, no doubt. And just so you guys know, I will link Nate's information in the description below. So make sure that you subscribe, like the video, tell a friend about this walkthrough. Get some knowledge on what you're actually doing in this real estate game. You have your gurus out there. As you can see, we are not gurus. We are actually in here, like Nasser would say, we are do-roos.
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 That's right.
So,
that's right.
Once again, Nate, Rolled Realty Solutions, Brian with Wholesaling Playbook. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.